Last week, we know that Pep Guardiola signed a new contract as City manager to stay at the club until 2027, ending the speculation that he might leave at the end of his contract, which was due to expire next summer. But the big issue for City right now is that while Guardiola's contract is good news, that is the easy part. The difficult part is they've got 16 players, 16 first-team players who are due to have their contracts expire between now and the end of Guardiola's contract. And obviously, some are expiring next summer, some in 2026, some in 27. But that is a lot of contracts to deal with, especially at a time when there's so much uncertainty around the club due to the 115 Premier League charges, which City deny. But that hearing is being dealt with right now. We expect a resolution in January, then maybe an appeal, so it could take until May before this situation is resolved, which means that any player that has a contract situation at Man City is unlikely to commit their future to the club until they know exactly what the situation is. So next summer, for instance, we have Ilkay Gundogan and Kevin De Bruyne, both out of contract. Now, the likelihood is that both players will be told that, look, you've had a great time at the club, but it's time to move on. They are both getting old, mid-30s, 33 and 34 respectively. Certainly, both players have had injury situations as well. So if they move on, that wouldn't be a surprise. But right now, there are no situations whereby either player can extend their contract because the uncertainty around the club. Beyond that, the following summer, you've got Kyle Walker that is out of contract. John Stones is out of contract. Any player that enters the final 12 months of their contract becomes, in terms of their situation, becomes very kind of powerful. And as we've seen at Liverpool, Mo Salah, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Virgil van Dijk, all in their last year of their contract at Anfield. And they still haven't resolved it as they go into the final 6 months because the player suddenly has the power over the club because they can leave for a free transfer at the end of it. But then you've also got the situation of the 2027 batch. Erling Haaland, Phil Foden, Ruben Dias, some of the biggest players at Man City that obviously are part of the future. But if you're one of those players, if you're Erling Haaland or Phil Foden, would you extend your contract at Man City right now, not knowing what the situation will be in 6 months' time if the club loses their battle against the Premier League? Can you seriously pledge your future to a club that may not be in the Champions League for the foreseeable future, could even be demoted due to a points deduction? All these questions around there, which would suggest that top agents and players will want to wait until they know what the situation is. So City have got a backlog of major issues building up now. So we're getting to the situation now where 2027 seems a long way off, but in terms of planning for the future, it's not. City have got a situation where they need to deal with it now. They need to get their big players lined up. But, as I say, Erling Haaland, Phil Foden, why would they want to commit? Jack Grealish, why would they want to commit to a club when they don't know where they're going to be playing their football? Can the club even pay their wages if they are, the worst case scenario, demoted from the Premier League if they are found guilty of all the Premier League charges? So what happens in 2027? Will Pep Guardiola still be there? Manuel Pellegrini signed a contract extension in his final year at Man City, despite the fact that the wheels were already in motion to hire Pep Guardiola. The Pellegrini deal it helped to kind of manage the message, manage the PR, take the questions away about the uncertainty, reassure the players there was some stability there. Will Guardiola still be there in 2027? We don't know. He said recently that he was ready to go this year. He was ready to call it a day. But after 4 weeks of bad results, he changed his mind. Well, what happens in another 4 weeks? Does he change his mind again? So lots and lots of uncertainty at Man City right now. 2027 is going to be a very big time in the club's future. Guardiola's future, the players. So by the time we get to 2027, what will the team look like? That depends on what they can do in the next 12 months in terms of contracts. There's a lot of issues to address in the next 12 months. 2025 is a key year for Man City in terms of planning for the future. They have to get next year's deals sorted out. They have to get the 2026 deals sorted out. But also the 2027 players, if they don't resolve their contracts next year, they're going to get to 2026 and City could have with Haaland and with Foden the same situation that Liverpool are struggling to deal with right now with Salah, Van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold.